Today's guest is a true New Yorker, born and bred. Pete Luna has been in New York his whole life, and he is a first-generation American of Mexican and Irish descent, and he wanted us to share this with you. He has never had a manager or agent before in the 20 years of being an actor. He puts in the sweat and the effort to work on his craft, to try to get auditions on his own, but not until he started to, well, I would say, describe his own story with the truth of where he's been, describe his own story, honoring the wins and losses that he's had. Was he able to attract in that right rep? And Pete is such a character. He's kind. He's so much fun. You're going to hear that come throughout this interview. So I can't wait for you to hear about his experience in reaching out to representation. He got a lot of responses. He even heard back from CAA at one point. So I can't wait for you to hear from him in his own words, particularly because he's such a colorful and fun character. And if anyone is listening who has decided like representation is never going to happen for you, or that it's going to just have to be something you slog for a long time, I want you to hear that it wasn't that difficult for Pete. He just had to change the way he was reaching out. All right, let's get into it. Pete Luna, thank you so much for coming to the show today. I'm so glad you're here.
Yes, it's thrilled. I got to meet you in person. A couple of weeks ago, and that was great.
Yeah. So Pete has been a student of mine. We're going to get into like your success with representation, but most of my classes are taught online, but I am such a person who has a beating heart for let's meet in real life as much as possible. And now that we're in 2023 and things feel like a little bit more okay to be meeting in the real world, we had a meetup in New York City and I got to see Pete there. And that was the first time I got to hear about some of your incredible success with your new representation. And so I was like, you have to come on the podcast and share the story because it's too juicy.
Yeah. I still can't fucking believe it.
I love it. Oh my God, this is great. So, okay. First of all, share with everybody your results. Tell the story of where you're at right now and how you landed your manager. Let's start right there. And I don't even, you have to tell me manager, agent, tell me the whole story. Give us the whole spiel.
The whole story. Okay. Well, really a lot of this has to do with the fact that I'm a reader on a website called We Audition. But
I love We Audition. Yeah.
But reading I've been reading on that for 2 years and I've become a kick-ass reader. I mean, but then Brian's right, is without a rep, you're not going to get these auditions. So I'm seeing these actors getting these auditions that, damn it, I would crush that role. I would crush that role.
Yeah.
It was
You're getting hungry. It was good because it was making you hungry is what I hear you say.
Exactly right. And it sent my confidence through the roof. And they got me, okay, now because I got the program, I think back in March of last year, and I was kind of hemming and hawing a little bit, kind of,
Meaning agent goals, meaning like jumping into agent goals.
Agent goals. Yeah. And I was sort of pacing myself a bit.
Got it. Great.
And then I realized, you know what, you become what you focus on, which I think is a lot of people have said that, but so so for the next 2 months, I'm just going to focus on getting the representation, just doing what I can, it's what I can control that. I mean, I can't control somebody opening the email or not. Right. And then, so I got, you vetted the email and that was great. And I sent it to, a large number of people. Okay. And I sent it right around Thanksgiving weekend. So I immediately got some responses. Oh, this is great. This is great. Oh, you're out of the office. Oh,
it's some auto responses is what you got.
Auto responses. Oh, damn it. Auto response. But that counts. So it's open.
Right.
And then I got an email from a rep here in New York. Right. And we chatted on the phone. She's from New York. I'm from New York.
Did she call you first? Or did she email you first?
She emailed me. And because I did get a lot of them. I did get one from CAA.
Wow.
Yeah. They said, we're going to send your links back. Well, I don't know how you do that. We're going to send your links back and we're not going to open them. And we're going to delete your name from our system. Good luck with everything. So I think that's
okay, great. I didn't know your name. My name was in your system beforehand. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. You're looking for me. Okay. Great.
Right. Yeah.
So
you heard from this one manager.
Yeah. I got an email from her.
Yeah.
I would love to chat, and I chatted with her and I said, hey, but then I was like eager. I thought, okay, I'll come to your office because, in person, I live in New York, you're in New York. And she, no, we'll chat on the phone. And then, she really loved my resume.
Great.
On Actors Access because I did your Audition Magnet course, which was just fine tuning. Before that, I never even thought of slates, but now I have slates. All my headshots have slates and 7 seconds.
We love that. We love when we get the
7 seconds to show your personality, and it's great. And she mentioned that
Oh,
she was, I love the way that resume looks. I thought, okay, it's Brian.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the work you did though, Pete. So you had this meeting, but wait, before we get to the meeting, how many meetings did you get? Did you just get the one meeting, which is great, but did you get any other meetings besides?
I got some emails saying, hey, send us some more information. And then I got a few of them, but when I got that one, I thought, all right, well, let me see. It turns out that was the right one to get.
Person. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. And I looked at it.
I want to stop you for a second because it's important that we think about this, because a lot of people will come on the podcast and they got 18 meetings or 12 meetings or 6 meetings or whatever. And we really only want the one that's truly a match. And your trajectory, once you started working with this manager, is pretty fabulous, which is
I can't believe it.
So tell us a little bit about meeting her and like where you are now with that work you're doing.
Well, I did, once she emailed me saying, hey, I'd love to talk with you. I looked at her roster and I said, okay, there's not a lot of guys like me. Because it's a black-owned company. They're great. Okay. They have agents. They have offices in Atlanta, Chicago, New York, and LA, which means I'm repped in all 4 of those markets.
That's amazing. We love
commercial
a one-stop
and theatrical.
Shop. Yes. Oh, that's great. Yes.
Yeah. And so we chatted, and she's from New York. I'm from New York. We both love. I'm never leaving New York. I love it. And we chatted. We really connected. Right. I love the energy, that she had, and they were looking to fill their. It was the right time for me because I filled a hole in their roster because they were looking to work with people who are genuine New York actors as opposed to New York local hires. They have a lot of those.
Got it.
I mean, of course, if I go to Chicago, I wouldn't be a Chicago local hire, but so they don't have a lot of genuine New York actors. And I signed a 1-year contract.
Great. But you just got an audition recently and booked it or something.
I got an audition. It was. There was one audition I got for a commercial, but I really don't count that one. Okay. And I'd gotten an audition because I said, Gabrielle, my agent, I said, listen, I can play cops and detectives all fucking day long, especially the asshole ones. Yeah. As it turns out, according to a woman I used to date, that she's you're the asshole cop. Okay, fair. Okay, good. Fair enough. And I get an audition for. I can say what it is. It's not a non-disclosure. It's so I got an audition to play detective on Law and Order SVU.
Great.
So it was a Friday. I got it on a Friday night. It was due on Monday. I said, all right.
But wait, stop. I have to stop. I need to make sure people get this. Pete has never had agents before. Is this correct?
Right. I went from no agents to 4 agents. This is the first audition I've gotten. It's. Because Actors Access, you get them on your own. But
and Pete, how long have you been in the business?
20-something years.
That is wild to me.
Yeah.
It pisses me off. I'll just say it pisses me off a little bit. I'm just really happy that this is where you are now, but it pisses me off because I wish it was sooner. But before you go too deep into the story, I just want to make sure everyone hears the right match at the right time, putting yourself out there in the way that you did, which is, remember, is this your first network? Was that your first network audition or no? Yeah. So just everyone clock that if you didn't ever hit a network, that means Pete didn't have any network credits before. Right. But we were capturing the story of being in this career for the past 2 decades in a way that made you very understandable to this new manager or agent or manager. I'm sorry, is it agency or manager?
Agent. Yeah.
Agent. Right. Who has offices around the country, who is willing to say, I would like to sign you because I believe I can get work for you, the work that you haven't had in the past, instead of show me you've done the work before and then I can start working with you. I just want everyone to just clock that before we get too deep in here.
Yeah. So I have no credits. Yeah. I have no reel. I mean, it's a couple of self-tapes I did that's my reel. So on Actors Access, I've got a couple of scenes like this where I'm doing, that, but nothing.
Yeah. But wait, if anyone's watching, if you haven't watched this on YouTube, you should head over because Pete's setup is pretty damn sweet. He looks great right now. So check it out. Yeah.
And this is how I look all the time. I mean, of course, there's a little filter on there that makes me look a little bit better than I am. Sure. But this is my default setup, and that's a whole other thing. But,
great. So you had this audition for Law and Order, which is like
I get this audition for Law and Order SVU. And my reader, because I booked my reader, and she's an expert with procedurals for the Jonathan Strauss office.
Yeah.
So she knows. She's never worked on the shows, but she's taken online classes with them, so she knows what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So we knock it out of the fucking park.
Oh.
And it was due Monday. I turned it in Saturday night. I said, this is easy. We'll do this. I had so much fun with it. But then I realized that the audition is the win. I said, this is an incredible. I didn't expect this opportunity. because an actor friend of mine said, listen, you got a fucking audition already? What the?
Wait, so let's remember you signed. So wait, so you signed basically, let's say beginning of December.
Right. And I got the audition, it was January. So I got the audition early
and so
January.
we're talking right now at the end of January. So within 2 months, your first network audition, and you booked this thing, didn't you?
I know I didn't book it, but I did get, but I got the, so they get the Jonathan Strauss gets the audition.
Yeah.
It's due Monday. And then I get an email from Gabrielle saying, listen, they want you to read for FBI. It's due in the morning. Can you do it? Yes, I can. No problem.
Yeah.
And I knew nothing about the character. We're trying to figure out my reader and the same reader. We're trying to figure out what's going on there. So, but and I just, you know what, I'm just going to be myself. And it's like what Bryan Cranston says, you don't walk in the room to get the job, you walk in the room to do the job.
Yeah, great.
We put so much fucking pressure on ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's just because I've just, again, I did 3 takes. And the one scene, the first scene I did, okay, we did the rehearsal take, and it's okay, let's go. We're good. Great. We moved on. 1 take. Got it. And I get pinned for that. I get an email from
so wait, I just want to so just so we're clear, because we're really talking about representation now, and Pete's sharing a little bit of his process here, but I want you to hear first audition for network ever with first agent in my life, got the audition, didn't get booked, got asked to submit another tape, which I think is actually a bigger win because it says, we like this people's work. He's not right for this role. We want to give him something else. I think that's so much more gravy than just booking it, because booking it's like a one and done. And then you had this audition for a different show with the same office casting, and you nailed that one. Great, awesome.
Yeah, and then I get an email from Gabrielle saying, "Listen, they love you, and fingers crossed." What?
I love that. You get feedback. They love you. That's awesome. That's amazing.
Second audition. I'm pinned. What?
Yes. What? That's awesome.
And then I get another audition for FBI to play. So it was 2 cops. It was a detective and sort of an asshole, like a crooked cop.
Yeah.
I get another FBI audition.
Yeah.
Which I haven't heard back yet, but
what I would hear is the repeat customer. This office is already a friend, already a fan. Right.
Now they know. And then my actor friend said, listen, it's a matter of time. They like you and they're looking for the right role for you.
Totally. Yeah. That's totally right. And I know, so when I was an actor in New York, Jonathan Strauss used to teach at the studio where I worked. So I know Jonathan really well, and he loves to reward actors that he sees over and over and over again. So you're right on the track there. I love that. And this is all from that first agent. So take us back a little bit.
Okay.
Inside of agent goals a little bit. So you've been in this business for 2 decades. It wasn't like you never tried to reach out to an agent before. Right. What was different this time for you? What felt different for you?
I thought, if I'm going to wait till I'm ready, it's just, I just, because I knew, so, I mean, doing the whole, the agent goal was really helpful to narrow down what my character types were.
Yeah.
So for anyone who's trying to figure that out, just ask yourself, if you're in a waiting room auditioning for a role, what other actors are there with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, who is in a waiting room anymore, though? That's the hard part. Now it's harder because
I know it's virtual, but it was a real, back in the day,
right?
Which wasn't that long ago. Right. But yeah, so that's a good way to can figure out your types, because a lot of people have a problem with that. But I'm lucky. If I didn't figure this out, so now I know I should. I mean, I'm getting these auditions that I'm knocking out of the park because they're right. The roles are right for me because I know what I can do.
Right. Yeah,
I know how good I am.
Right. I love that.
It's not like Dizzy Dean says, ain't bragging if you can do it, but it's. Yeah, and I've had the confidence because before I did the program, I didn't really have it gave me a map. Okay, so I sort of just kind of, it just gave me, okay, these are the steps and do this, and you put the work in and it was a lot, and I did put the work in.
You did? No, Pete, you really put the work in. Can you tell me, have you ever reached out to reps in the past? What are some other ways you've tried in the past?
I did reach out to a rep. And then she was going to sign me, and I filled out a questionnaire.
No. I want to know. Yeah. I want to stop. I'm going to keep cutting you off because did you use email? Did you go to Showcase? Did you get a referral? What were the ways you were reaching out to reps in the past?
I emailed, and then I asked for, a couple of friend actors gave me referrals, but
yeah. And what would happen there? Would it just fall apart or just not come through, or you wouldn't
hear back from them? Okay. I just sort of, okay. All right. They don't want me. Okay. All right.
Because they would not be getting back to you essentially. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
which is painful. Okay. I think that's so painful. And
it's a business. Yeah. It's a business based on rejection.
Right. But did you have moments when it would be like, okay, I'm going to reach out to some agents, and then would you back off for a few months, or were you always constantly reaching out, trying to see if somebody would strike, or what was your energetic?
I wasn't consistent with it.
Yeah.
You know, I'd reach out here and there, and then a friend of mine, oh, yeah. And yeah, I mean, people couldn't believe it. Like, how you not repped? And well, I don't quite know, but
Yeah.
I'm
And
not,
anyone who, yeah.
because I didn't do the work. And
Well, I
then
think anyone who has that question is so great. How come you're not rep? I hate when actors have friends say that to them. I think it's so painful, but also like, because I haven't really figured out how to do it. Like, I need some help figuring it out, right? So if you, this is, I'm just so happy with your journey, Pete. And I think a lot of people would see you and be like, we know what your type is right away. And like, yeah, but we have to own it so much. And I also think one of the things that I know about your story from when we first started working together is kind of owning the past that you've had, owning what you've booked in the past, even though it wasn't a network credit, owning what you've already contributed inside of your acting career. So if you had to identify like one part, I would say, of Agent Goals that helped you the very most, what would you say that would be and why?
You know what was really, I got more out of those, the videos, the Q&As, I got so much out of those.
So we were live together.
Because, okay. Okay. That you just answered a question that I had. And it was just but really helpful to see the examples of the killer emails and how you just, okay, no, or yeah. They were a huge help.
Right.
You know, and they were, and I think there was one I ended up rewatching parts of it because it was how useful it was. But I mean, we're all going through the same thing. It's just,
I think what you're saying is also like other people are asking questions that I didn't know I needed I needed the answer to. Like someone else is asking, right? It's weird because when you say that, Pete, I'm so glad you did, because at this point, you know, I've been coaching for over 2 decades. It's almost statistically impossible that the question you ask has not been asked by someone else.
Right.
And maybe use not exactly the same words. And so the ability to see yourself in that other question is such a powerful part of being in a Q&A, especially when some other actors had the same struggles you had. There gets to be a camaraderie around like, oh, I understand what works and what doesn't here. And one of the other guests recently talked about how, you know, like I'm joining, you know, I started the class and someone else was towards the end of their class, and it really helped me to hear them talk about what they were about to get done, even though I was on day one. It was really helpful. So, what do you think, you know, in this journey that you had inside Agent Goals and in the journey you're still living now, what do you think is, you know, the biggest thing you learned about yourself during this process?
That I can do this. Yeah. I mean,
What does that mean to you when you say that even?
You know, it was, you know, when I was younger, my dad came to see me. I was in a show, and I was really nervous because my dad was studying and really the main reason I got in, I took a friend of mine to see Goodfellas. He'd never seen it, and I saw it. And it's that sequence with the coda from Eric. For months after Latan's eyes, the body turning up all over. So that whole sequence, there's no dialogue there really. But I'm watching this. I said, I'm going to be an actor. Mm-hmm. And the following week, I was working for my dad, and the following week I signed up for classes. I said, well, if I'm doing this class on Saturday, I don't have to come in and work for him. Good job. I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. And then he came to see, about a year or so later, he came to see something I did, and he's, said, all right, so that acting thing, you got that out of your butt? You had a system there? Because, you're not going to be good. You're not going to make this. Come on, this is, And I would listen to that voice, but then really when I did this, there's a question that it's the questions you ask yourself. So I had to, I stopped listening. At some point I stopped listening to that voice saying, okay, you're just not going to fucking make it. And it was just, it's really whatever question we ask ourselves, we're going to answer.
Yeah.
And I feel like what has happened to me? What has happened to me? Because you're a loser, because you're not good enough. Okay, well, what can I do? What can I learn from this? Or what can I do? Or how can I move forward? But and I just so I mean, he passed away a number of years ago, but I mean, he would be thrilled.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, what I always hear inside of a parent saying anything like, you're not going to make it, or are you sure you want to do that, is just like, I'm concerned that you're not going to be successful, going to be unhappy, not going to have money, all the concerns that can come up from a parent. There just doesn't, the language they're using isn't always the most general and supportive, because you need someone to say, I love you and I'm worried about you, actually, more than I don't want you to do that. Right. So
yeah, it's understandable. You don't want your kids to go through what, you don't
some kind of pain.
Want your kids to suffer at all.
Yeah. And when you're thinking about the Agent Goals process, where did that kind of intersect with what you just described? Was it in the beginning in the question?
That was a breakthrough. There was that an exercise there was a breakthrough for me, because I got, some friends of mine, and I would tell them the story about, that voice in my head that said, you're not good enough. And then I changed, and then I was able to change that voice.
Yeah.
And I remember, because I did a Zoom with a number of friends of mine. And I was going to, and I just started to get teary, because I realized, oh yeah, that was it. That was that. But I wouldn't have come to that realization if I hadn't done the program.
Interesting. Yeah. Also, I appreciate you saying that, Pete. But I also think that part of what I'm also hearing that is I might not have wanted to look at that moment had I not done the program. It was a painful moment.
Yeah, it was tough to. Yeah, that had to stay with me for a while, because it was a tough thing to admit.
Yeah. Also, because you love your dad and you don't want to speak ill of your father, who my dad's dead as well. You want to speak ill of your father who's no longer with us, but you also want to be like, this happened and it left a mark, and I know it wasn't his intention, but it stayed. And I needed to do some healing around this before I was going to be, or at least know it's there before I was ready to get the right rep for me.
Yeah.
Right. And I just love that story, the soaring that you're doing, Pete. And I am certain that your father is thrilled.
He would be.
Yeah. That's incredible.
But but this is all beyond what I and I thought, okay, well, I got a representation now. My life. Wait, why is my life the same? Everything can be better. Food tastes the same. What is this shit?
Yeah. So what are you learning now that you have reps and you are getting some fancier or upper, higher level auditions?
You know what? I feel like I feel more professional. It's all right. So now when I read with actors, how's your age? How's my age? Okay, well, here's what's going on with you. And it's just, 22, it's already turning out to be the best year. It's going to be the best year of my life.
Oh, Pete,
I know
I'm
that.
so happy. I love you saying like, I feel validated and feel like I'm part of the club now.
Yeah.
Even when I'm reading with those actors who've got great sides and they're coming to me as a reader, and like, I'm like, great, I'm in the club now. I was out of the club before. And Pete, I'll just identify something that I kind of picked up when we were started coaching together, and you'll tell me if this is right. I'd gotten the sense that you might have bought into a story that like getting reps is hard, having an acting career is hard, and maybe this is just the way that it is. And that was what you started to dismantle from doing some of this work. Does that resonate for you at all?
Yeah. It's is this what I want to do? I mean, this has been a struggle for so long, and maybe it just isn't fucking worth it. And then I thought, well, really, there's nothing, would I do this for free? Yeah.
That's so dangerous, right? Because we're talking about someone to help us get, I'm so glad you said that, because it's dangerous because we love it so much. You do it for free and you want to get better jobs, and the better jobs pay. So of course you want to be paid for your work, and the agent is a way into those better jobs. And so it's and so it can leave, I think, a lot of actors disempowered. Is that a right word? Maybe that's the right word. Yeah. Like not feeling,
I think so.
Not feeling powerful because, well, I just want to act. I just want to work. And so it doesn't include the business as part of the conversation. So I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. It's just been, this is no exaggeration to say this is life-changing. This changed my career and it changed my life. I'm walking around feeling satisfied. Can you imagine that?
Oh God, Pete, I love that.
What the fuck? I'm the same person. I'm just, I'm just not even, I'm not the person I was a year ago, 6 months ago.
Yeah. So if you were to, so someone who's listening right now who, or watching it on YouTube, and they are in the place you were before, they were in the, the February before you enrolled in the course or before you landed where you are now, what would you want to say to them?
Do the work. You can't, it's not going to, hey, would you like an agent? It doesn't work that way. You don't wake up and there's an email, oh, somebody wants to represent me. It doesn't work that way. You need to work for it. You need to decide, okay, it's the regret. You know what? I was watching this YouTube video. I got turned on to this, but he's talking about regrets. And he says, in life, we're all going to have regrets. Choose your regrets. It's holy shit.
That pisses me off.
What would you regret?
It pisses me off and motivates me at the same time.
Right. What would you regret more, or what would you regret less? Would you regret less, be easier not to do the work, but it's always easier not to do anything. But it's just, this is important to you. This was the most important thing for a couple of months for me. There was nothing else.
Yeah.
And you, whatever you manifest, but yeah, stick with it, because it took me months to get to it.
Yeah.
I started it and then stopped and then
well,
started.
Pete, just notice, I just want to everybody just listen, like you can do this if you decide to do agent goals or not, but you can do this in 45 days. You can do this in 4 months. You can do this in 9 months. And imagine you're confronting a rupture in your relationship that you had with your dad, or a moment that you made a story about with your dad. Like that's going to slow you down. You know, you can't be that healing or that understanding can't be put on a timeline that you decide on. Some of that has to be taken care of from just walking around with the realization that, you know, that left a mark for me. And there's a scar there, and I need to raise it to the light, bring the light to this darkness that I have around this so that I can be free from it, which is what I saw you do.
Yeah. It's like this huge weight's been lifted. I didn't even know this weight was there.
Right.
Yeah. And holy shit.
And so there's gonna be people who've heard you today, Pete, who want to continue to track what's happening with your career, what's happening next. Are there places they can follow along?
I'm on Instagram.
Right. What is that?
Yeah,
what's the name there? Is it Pete Luna?
Yeah. It's _ Pete Luna.
Great. _ Pete Luna, PETELUNA. So we can keep watching there for when we get to see you on Law and Order, because it's just a matter of time at this point. We're manifesting that for you.
So my goal is to do one of those. I think it's Audrey Helps Actors.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the audition, and then here's the final product.
I love it. I love it.
I'm going to get one of those before the end of the year. That's going to be me.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I know we'll have some people. So everyone, if you wanted to follow along with Pete's journey, it's _ Pete, PETELUNA. And Pete, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing, you know, your journey of what this was like for you. And one of the things I just want to underscore for everyone is when we are able to look at those sticky, wounded places, and they don't have to be healed. I want to make sure everyone hears that from me. You just have to know that they're there. So you'd have to operate out of that wound when you're reaching out to representation, when you're calling the right ones in, and see how beautifully this can unfold. Especially, Pete, you know, I think your story is such a great one because the agent happened. You felt so great about them. You're represented in 4 cities right now. And then you got audition after audition after audition at the same office. So what that also says is, of course, you're ready to be working at that level in casting offices. It wasn't like you weren't good enough all that time. I love that redemption part of the story. Was, of course, you're ready to compete, I put in quotes, at that level. And I think that's such an important, great piece of your story. So thank you for your willingness to share it with me. I really am so proud of you. And also say, Pete, is your success is really well-deserved because you went in and put some skin in the game. We're not afraid to look at, you know, what's been holding me back. And it wasn't everybody. What was holding Pete back was not a credit. It was not a referral. It was not new headshots. It was not getting a reel. Those were not the things that needed to turn. It was a part inside of him.
Yeah, because my headshots are 7 years old.
Yeah. And don't tell anybody but me that, but that's amazing. That's so awesome.
Okay. Yeah. No, nobody asked.
No, but that's amazing. I want everyone to hear that. There are people who will say, I have to get new headshots. I have to get me this. I'm going to be ready to reach out when this happens, fill in the blank. Yeah. I just want to if anybody walks away with any takeaway from today, it's that you are ready as you are right now. If you're willing to do the work to unlock some of what may be holding you back. So thank you so much, Pete.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Great to have you.